What's a question you ask yourself when you feel off but can't name why? Hmm. That's a great one. When I feel unsettled and I can't sort of explain it, one of the things I've learned to do, I didn't always do this, but one of the things I've learned to do is I don't rush to fix the feeling anymore. I've learned to really slow down and ask myself a pretty simple question that I think it's asking me and giving myself permission to be honest, which is, where am I feeling out of alignment with something I already know is true? When I ask myself that, like it does a bit of an unlock. Because I find for me, like that internal tension is often not about confusion, but it's about misalignment. And for me, it's about trying to create space for the gap between what I know and what I'm tolerating. And when I'm willing to pause and sit with that and really answer that question honestly, clarity usually follows. And I will say sometimes you know, I don't know about you, but I have to sometimes actively or mentally give myself permission. Like, well, what would you say if this was someone else's situation? Or what would you do if like all emotions were gone and you were just purely making like the best choice? Sometimes just disassociating from myself in that way, mentally disassociating, it's easier for me to call out like, this is actually what I'm feeling. But when I have the layers of the emotions or the layers of what I'm quote unquote supposed to do sitting on top of it, sometimes it's harder for me to get to it. Well, there was a season when I kept hoping something outside of me would change. Um, there's just been a host of them. Sometimes I wanted things to go faster. Sometimes I wanted things to be slower. Sometimes I wanted clarity because I was like, oh, I feel like there's something new coming on. I don't know what it is. And I just wanted clarity, or I needed to make decisions about a career move or a geography I was living in. I just wanted to know the answer. And sometimes I was just waiting on other people. I was waiting on, other people to make decisions and choices and, just looking for that direction. And eventually I basically had to face the reality that nothing around me was shifting because as much as I thought I was waiting on those things to shift, I was actually the one not shifting. Um, and it can be a little counterintuitive, but I've learned over time that when I start to take ownership has a way of stripping away my excuses. Like I didn't have to wait for other people to make decisions. I could make my own. Really what I was dealing with was I wanted a decision that I hoped they would make that would help me get to where I wanted to go. But they weren't making the decision in the time frame that I needed. And that in and of itself was enough information for me to then make the decision I needed to make. And it meant where I was going had to change. It meant how I was getting there may have had to change. But realizing I wasn't stuck waiting on someone else to shift. But I also think like when you stop blaming circumstances and really own your part, I think it gives something back that blame never can. It gives you authorship of your life. And the moment you realize you still have authorship, you own your life. Even when the circumstances are imperfect, even when things don't quite work out the way you want them to, sometimes just knowing you have control on the inside, that steadies you.